Hey AfterBuzzers, thank you so much for tuning into our finale Unreal After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we are going to be breaking down Season 2, Episode 10, titled Friendly Fire. Tune in because we have a very special guest on the couch that you will definitely not want to miss.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Very appropriate, I think, for this episode and for our special guest. Hello, AfterBuzzers. Thank you again for tuning into our Unreal After Show. I'm Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. Before we announce our special guest here on the couch, my ladies, for the finale, tell us again who you are and where we can find you online.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
Hello everyone, I am Abby Vega. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, so you guys can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one.
And if you guys follow us, you do know who our guest is, of course, Mr. Michael Rady. Woo! Oh, Coleman.
Coleman.
Don't make that face. What's that face for? What was that?
Worried about you.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, kind of. Thank you so much.
Like, are you really?
Okay, let's get into it.
I did tweet Coleman sucks.
I've been a fan. So if you were to hear kind of our conversations this whole season about Coleman, you'd be very interested because, Renee the whole time, said he's bad news.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because,
Really?
and look, you were bad news.
Look at that. Good. Okay.
And
All
I
right.
said you were the hot kind of crazy until you had sex with hot Rachel.
Yeah.
Still, I'll take it. That's good.
And then last week, I was still kind of thinking that you might be good.
Yeah. Abby was
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
He's not that bad.
We're like,
Yeah.
Abby.
I try to see the best in people.
And Abby, I've always loved that about you. I appreciate that.
I agree. It was hard to not like you at the beginning, even
Great.
though it's, you knew that you were on the show for a reason to probably tear Quinn and Rachel apart, which you did, and then they got back together, and then you might have died. So I wouldn't get in between those two again,
Yeah, bad news.
Lesson learned. Right. Yeah.
Well, what has this experience been like for you? Because you're a new character on the show, but you also aren't one of the contestants that's kind of in and out, throughout the season.
Yeah. Which made it especially fun because all of I was with Sherry and with Constance for so much of my work on the show, which was really, really tremendous to have the bulk of my work with them, going toe-to-toe with Constance and Sherry. Wow.
I read an article that your first day you walked in and were kind of starstruck or something,
You
right?
guys,
Did
it
you?
was
I feel like I do
so
the same way.
surreal.
Yeah.
Season 1 blew me away, and then first day on set, first scene up, the whole bullpen and me, and there's Quinn and there's Rachel and there's Jet. Oh my gosh.
You're like, what are they
But
gonna
what
do?
put me over the edge was Madison, because everyone had to introduce themselves in character in the scene, and then Madison came up. Hi, I'm Madison. I can't hear a word you say, and I love you. Hello, Madison.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
we're
love
rolling.
her.
We're shooting. Yeah, it was awfully distracting, but exciting.
hilarious.
I geeked out.
Yep.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
We had her here last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a delight.
spectacular. Did she tell you how originally she had she was essentially an extra?
Yeah.
With one line. Okay, that's tremendous.
That's awesome because we love her. She's one of our favorite characters this
She's so
season.
funny.
To go from a one-line extra to almost an archetype.
I know.
Tremendous.
It's great.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So let's get into this episode a little bit.
Let's talk.
Oh my God, guys. I loved it, first and foremost. Totally obsessed with it. I think you guys felt the same way, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was everything I wanted to be and more. I
was-
really liked it.
I was saying, because you know how we have a group text, and I watched it after all you, so I get these texts just saying, it's crazy, it's so crazy. I'm like, I haven't watched yet. So the whole time, though, I was watching kind of anxious, And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, there's only 10 minutes left. It's coming. Something big's coming. Then all of a sudden there's only 4 minutes left. So then I brace myself because I go, it really has to be coming now. And then it happened. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, for
it
the
was
tone
great.
to switch so much from everything just happening so quickly to this episode kind of drawing it out longer, that almost made the anticipation more. That's a Rocky Horror thing.
Nerd.
I know who I am.
So when you came into the show, I guess one of my biggest questions though is, did you know where your character was going, like from first episode to episode 10, that you might die or that you were gonna be turned into this villainous character?
I truly had no idea. I knew I was, at the very start, I knew I was there. I knew I was a nice guy. They said, Coleman's, he's just a really nice guy. He comes from good stock, well-educated. He's a good guy, though. Okay, great. But in the same breath, they said, oh, Coleman, though. Oh, Coleman. I said, well, what does that mean? They said, we're not going to tell you. But I'm a nice guy? Yeah, you're a nice guy. Okay. And then a few episodes in, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm definitely here to drive a wedge between Constance and between Quinn and Rachel, right? Yes, you're here. It's a love triangle this season. And it's between you three. Okay. But I'm a good guy? Yeah, you're a good guy. You're a good guy. Okay. And then a couple more episodes later, everyone's coming up to me on set going, dude, Coleman's a dick, man. You're a dick. And I'm so deeply rooted in his goodness now that I was really taken aback by it. And I wasn't living in the world of, that's right, he's a dick. It's so fun. No, I was still, no, he's not. No. And by the end, shooting that scene with Sherry that was in the episode last night where it's like,
Oh my gosh.
I win. We had a lot going on that day just in our personal lives. She had a lot going on. I had a lot going on. And so we weren't talking a lot like we normally do. And so we went in to do that scene, and I felt so horrible. When I got off stage and they called cut, she was spectacular. She's always spectacular. So it was really, hitting her, and I just felt... I felt so bad with the whole mic drop. I went,
It wasn't a little bit fun?
No, it was. It was when he said cut, and I was like, back to me again, and she was still like kind of wounded. But oh God,
It was a great scene, though.
Ooh, that was a fun.
It was a good one. It was very intense.
And to me, it does seem like you played Coleman like he was sort of like how people write villains, as the hero of his own story. Like you said, you're playing him as a good guy. And I feel like even until the end, he thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, you're going to have to convince me otherwise, actually.
No, I agree with that, too.
Yeah, I do too, because I think it's interesting the writers told you that, because I think that Coleman legitimately thinks that up until he slept with Hot Rachel, like that's just where it all like went awry. Up until then, I really feel like he felt what he was doing was helping Rachel and that he really cared about her, but he was just as crazy, if not crazier, I think, than she was at the end of the day. No.
As crazy as Rachel? Yeah. Really?
In a sociopathic internal way. Like he was creating, all of these situations that he was convincing himself were good and were going to be okay. It takes it a little far.
It threw me for a loop when I found out his documentary was a fake.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
I know.
Never saw that coming.
Can't trust him.
Yeah, I mean, he's an opportunist at the end of the day. I think he knows a good opportunity when he sees one. I do think he did care for Rachel. I do think he tried to. I think he tried to throw her a life raft and say it doesn't have to go down this way. This was really messed up. It can be her or us here. It doesn't have to be us. We can do this. And then she, her allegiance to Quinn, of course, and so she chose Quinn. And I think he thought what they had was kind of rooted in something real, and so that stung a lot, and so he just started driving stakes into everything after that.
I thought he cared for Rachel too. I said that last week. I was like, I think the feelings there are real.
Renee's got a face.
Renee did not think so at all.
Cared about her to an extent, and like when I say that, I mean take that with a grain of salt, because when she got right out of the
facility.
Yeah, the facility, wherever she was. But she was all drugged up, and the first thing Coleman does, sits her on a couch while she's all drugged up and tapes her, admitting all of these things that could get her arrested. That's not what you do to someone you care about. If you really wanted to work together, you would have waited until she was not all drugged up on whatever she was on and talked to her, had a real adult conversation. You took advantage of the situation.
She's mad at you.
Sorry, Michael. I apologize for her.
So, okay, we're back. Sorry.
But I feel like you definitely took advantage of the situation with Rachel.
Yeah.
And also with a hot Rachel? Like, what? That was not what you do when you care about someone at all.
He was upset.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let me ask you. Do you think how invested was Rachel in Coleman?
I think she's delusional and needs to be alone for a long time.
Thank you. Yes, agreed.
She thought she was in love or whatever because she gets a little crazy and like a super. She sees this fairy tale ending is somewhere deep down there because she all of a sudden like only focuses on Coleman.
Sure.
It got to that point.
Yeah.
However, we know she's a psycho. Like she's a psycho. She's a sociopath. It was never gonna work out. However, like you pursued her as well. Well, Coleman. I'm sorry, I didn't stop directing you.
It's okay. No,
Let it all out.
I make the distinction inside, so you throw it at me, and then I'll cut it up inside. It's okay.
But your character like pursued her. Also, like it wasn't like she was just pursuing you and then eventually you gave in. You were pursuing someone who was a psychopath.
Yeah, didn't quite know she was a psychopath in the beginning, but
Sociopath.
Yeah.
I think that's what you call
Sociopath.
her at least.
I was using your nomenclature. That's all I was just repeating. Yeah, I think he found himself in this world. He needed to strike alliances early on, and so Quinn was clearly not going to be that person. Chet's a buffoon. Rachel's beautiful and cool and fun, and we have similar interests career-wise, so the obvious alliance to strike up. And there was a little bit of flirty, and what do you do with a little bit of flirty? That builds,
history.
right? And the rest is history.
Eventually it ends in death.
And we're in a ditch. Exactly.
And as I say, it's just always been a Dobler versus Dahmer effect. And for those of you who don't watch How I Met Your Mother, that's Lloyd Dobler, John Cusack's character in Say Anything, where he's crazy. He puts a boombox outside of a girl's window. Or say Jeffrey Dahmer, who cut up people, and I won't explain the rest. But yeah, and it's really just about how it's received as the crazy with Rachel and Coleman. There's a little bit of insanity with both, but then for a while we thought Coleman's crazy was sweet, and then it turned deadly.
Okay, I want to shift the perspective wheel a little bit here, and let's remember the world of Everlasting we're talking about, and who the people we're rooting for aren't. Okay.
They're awful.
They're awful people.
They're awful.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to
This is a dystopia that we're living in, which is everlasting. And I mean, we've committed to this dystopia. We are
we're
rooting for these people.
We love they're
My
kind of
shirt says
crazy.
Team Quinn
Team
for
Quinn.
a reason. Yeah.
Team Quinn, Team Rachel, and then Money Dick Power guys.
Yeah.
Again,
It's
thank
the
you.
mantra.
Yeah.
All
Isn't it
about
kind of crazy
Unreal.
though how the show does get you to like be obsessed and like rooting for these
terrible
people.
It's genius. It's genius,
Yeah.
and it's a huge. It's genius. Quinn and or just Constance and Sherry. The fact that you can root for them after the things they do.
Yeah, because
It's
like
spectacular.
because your character clearly did not do anything even remotely as bad.
No.
He actually
No.
didn't do anything bad except for to the bad person. So that's why we don't like him.
Exactly. That was the exactly. But thank you for
Okay.
articulating it much better than I did.
We could debate about this forever.
And we will. So let's go.
Well, listen, all I have to say is that I'm glad that we could get some of our feelings out to you, before we really
At me.
It was
Yeah,
like
at
a therapy
you.
session, I think. I've been waiting
apologize
for
for
this
Renee.
moment.
She's going to see her therapist tomorrow.
Me too after that.
Okay, well, so Coleman, security gets called on him. I love the beginning scene with Rachel when he's like, "Hey, babe," and then it's like, boom, 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 take all your stuff, bye. And then Quinn says what you reiterate at the end for a callback.
I win.
I win.
Oh, I wanted to slap her when she said that. But it was great. It was great. That was such a great moment.
Yeah. I knew it was going to come back, too, because I was like, oh, Quinn, don't get so cocky. Don't say that. It's like you're jinxing it.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
First scene, Quinn. Don't say it yet.
Don't say it yet.
I
Love
know.
that line though.
It was, it was a crazy ride with all of you. And then Jay really shined this episode. I
yeah.
thought.
He's been so good
He's
the whole
been
season.
just-
Yeah.
He's been aces this season.
He's been the
My
moral
gosh.
compass. That character. He's the only, I swear, like good person in the show. It
But
seems
he's
like.
still there, which is
Yeah, he is still
that
there.
dark area. Why
That's
are you
true.
here?
That is true.
Yeah,
Walk
because
away.
he did watch Ruby and Darius have sex. That's a little creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
He's doing it for the money.
Yeah.
He is, but then I
But he
guess,
got his happy ending.
well, when he realizes that he has to split the money with Madison, he's like, screw this. Like, I'm just gonna do what I think is right, because he is really the only African American person that's part of the production of it, and he feels as though he has this responsibility, kind of. And yes, what they put Darius through, awful.
For Darius. Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
we did call Darius was going to be a good guy. He was compared to Adam last season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he kind of stuck with that the whole season.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
me, Darius didn't do anything to compromise himself at all.
No.
Like, because even when he did a little bit of questionable things, he was questioning it.
Yeah.
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 Darius is a good guy.
And I'm happy he got his happy ending. I did not think that they would bring Ruby back
Oh, I
for
did.
a happy ending like that, because of what the show is. I mean, the show, one bad thing happens after another. So they're not gonna end it with a romantic coupling of these characters we love together from the beginning.
And isn't it sad that I'm the one that predicted the happy ending, considering how dark I am?
Wow. Wow.
You guys, because I texted you immediately after,
Yeah.
you have a weird dream and you wake up and you're like, I just need to talk to somebody about this because it was kind of upsetting. Well, I had a dream about the UnREAL finale, and I was in it. I was there and kind of
I love you
this,
guys.
we're crazy. I was kind of this, character that was like a fly on the wall, and what happened in my dream was that Darius left both the girls at the altar, and then they called Ruby for her to come and for them to get back together, and they were going to have a reuniting coffee, and they were going to tape it. Then on the way, Ruby gets bitten by a killer dog and only has one
We're
day
in the
to
dream
live.
now. Yeah, okay. For
Yeah.
a second, I forgot. I was like, this is a great version.
Yeah, no, then she just has one day to live, and
This was the alternate ending.
yeah, it's a
finale,
specific
We
kind
shot
of dog that bites you, that it's oh, you're gonna die tomorrow. And
That'd be rough.
Yeah, it'd
No
be
pun
hard.
intended.
So instead of breaking Darius's heart, she's just I'm not into you, and this is just for publicity. And then he was sad, and then she went off and died. And I woke up and I was pretty disturbed by the whole thing.
We're here for you. We're here. None of that happened. I did love how she said, no, I'm not going to marry you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So realistic.
Me too.
It was great.
It makes sense because that's the biggest thing too on these dating shows when they're proposing at the end. It's okay.
Stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
it's come on.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good that they put that spin on it. No, I love you. Yes, I love you, and I want to be with you, but we're not getting engaged right now. We've known each other 8 weeks, so I thought I like how they did that.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
It would have been too cliche if she was yes. It was more of a realistic happy ending.
And to me,
Yeah.
that wouldn't have been in her character.
Yeah.
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 Well, I also thought, I was come on, Darius, man. You know her. You should kind of know her. You're in love with her. You think. She doesn't want you to get on one knee and gnash from
I think he was in the
whole
moment.
world.
He was in the moment.
I know. He's
Probably
so...
felt the pressure since it was set up as a wedding.
Yeah.
Do I marry
Yeah.
someone?
Yeah.
He definitely felt the pressure. He was very, very anxious throughout the entire thing. And we had Danae Benton Skype from New York a couple weeks, and we were like, come on, are you going to be back for the finale maybe? Are you going to save the day?
What'd she say?
She was just she honestly, I thought, I was damn it, Ruby's not coming back. She was I don't know, she was very good at her poker
Well
face.
done, Danae.
Via
Well done,
Skype.
Danae. We love her. We love her.
Yes, I am a huge fan of hers as well. Let's talk a little bit about this Quinn and Chet and Tiffany.
Ugh.
Weird.
Yeah, how uncomfortable is that?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love Quinn's reaction too. Oh, you're sleeping with her? She goes, Red. She's so smart. I love how smart these ladies are. They're so manipulative and so smart. And I love that we don't have to sit as an audience oh my god, they don't know something.
Oh, yeah.
They always know everything, and I love that they figure it out immediately. And then she tricks Tiffany. I love the scene where she's talking to Tiffany and Chantal being and he chose you. And they're oh my god, such a good Quinn episode.
Yeah.
And I like how too with that she got this information about Chet and Tiffany, and I like how they always have a way of so calmly and like discreetly putting it in a conversation to tell the person that they know. It's like almost so uncomfortable for the other person because they don't say it right away. It's like they have a little conversation all happy and then they're like, oh, and by the way, like I know this is happening. And then the person's like, what? So I love the way that they always do that.
funny.
It's great.
Yeah, Quinn is just amazing at playing people. You know, she is a true boss-ass bitch. And I just love how she was like, oh, wait, I can't wait to use this.
Yeah.
Not, I'm hurt. I love that.
Yeah, they're all chess pieces for her. She just has
always.
all of these chess pieces that she plays.
I mean, it was the same way with Rachel when she found out about Coleman and Hot Rachel. Their first thing is, oh, I'm just going to go completely mess with these girls now because I can, and I
I'm
can
gonna
figure
ruin
out
your life.
Exactly.
That's cool.
It's not even, their first emotion isn't even to be sad or upset about it. It's, oh, I'm going to go mess with them.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's like messed up, but
Make a super
awesome.
self on national television. Then it's like even.
Yeah, last week for our opening song, we played "Let It Go," from Frozen.
Sure.
Because we thought,
She let it go.
How disturbing was that? How
So
disturbing.
But okay, just to touch on Hot Rachel very quickly. Okay, do I think she deserved to potentially die? No. But
So extreme.
I wasn't super sad to see her poop her pants on national television. I didn't feel that bad.
I thought that was the greatest thing ever, especially because how much Quinn loved it. Like, Quinn was so happy.
You guys, that was one of the funniest scenes I've ever shot in my career. Was Quinn in that bullpen getting that
Laughing.
news, because I had to walk in and I see what the fuck or what's going on. Sorry, oh my! The entire crew, cameraman, boom it. She was belly gut laughing for 35 minutes straight, every time.
And it was so funny, especially when she even exits there and is like, see, he's laughing. I'm not the only one that thinks this is so
I thought
funny.
It was so funny. It just kept going on and on. And we were talking about that last week with Genevieve, how her laugh is so infectious and contagious. Like when she was laughing, I was like by myself just cracking up because she just wouldn't stop. You think she's gonna stop, and then it's a big like a breath to get more out. It was so funny.
Oh, I'll never forget looking up at our camera, and they're all, because we just roll and roll and roll, and Peter, director, just keep going, Constance, say this and say that, and I mean it's really hard to do to get in that place of genuine laughter, and she had the entire soundstage cracking up at this manufactured laugh. Wow.
Yeah, that was
an amazing catcall.
Yeah, it was great.
Real quick though, back to Quinn and Chet. What are we thinking? Did Chet give Tiffany this anklet specifically so Quinn would see it on the monitors to make her jealous?
Oh, I think he did.
I think
'cause
so.
Once he knew John Booth was out of her life, he's like, oh, I can get back in it. Because Chet is adorable. I'm sorry. I love him.
I am all for Chet and Quinn. I love Chet and Quinn.
Really?
Because
They're so depressing to me. Them as a couple is just like.
I think it's such a toxic relationship.
well, it is, but like every relationship on the show is pretty toxic.
Oh, for sure. But I don't know if Chet did put the anklet on her just so she would get jealous. I don't know. I don't think he's like smart enough to think that through.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And two, I think like Tiffany's so hot and like gorgeous. Like he's like, oh my god, I can get you. So he's giving her the anklet. He's pulling all his moves. Well, his one move. Exactly. And then I think Quinn's like, you're such a loser. Like I know you.
She's like, that's your one move.
Yeah. Well, I hope they don't get back together because I love Quinn. I love Chet as them separately. I want her to find someone that makes her happy. Yeah,
him as a character is
great.
very entertaining and great.
Oh, see, I love him and I do want them to get back together, but the way that it happened this episode, she's like, I either am gonna like kill myself or be with you. And it's just like, I don't want to be with you. And I don't want her to be with him in that way. I want her to realize that he's changed and he's on her side.
Yeah, I agree that I feel like I don't even feel like they got back together. It was just sort of like their family unit got back together. Yeah. And, sort of in that ending scene we'll talk about later. But yeah, to me, when Quinn has the feelings when Ruby comes in and then he's just there, I was like, this made my heart grow 3 sizes that day.
I'm with you. Agreed.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna maybe be a little kiss there. I don't know why.
I don't
just
want that
thought
kiss.
it was going to.
Oh, that's very like thinking positively.
Too positively.
Yeah.
Thinking Coleman was good.
It's a little like
I'm too
delusional.
optimistic with this show.
It was really sweet and tender, though. That was a very.
It was.
Yeah.
I love seeing Quinn like that because you don't see that often. And we saw it again when she was telling Rachel how perfect she was.
Oh my gosh, that scene killed me. I almost
That was the most
had to-
romantic scene of the season.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a pretty
great.
special
It was
scene.
great.
good.
No. And as they say, the real romance is between
Them,
Rachel
yeah.
and Quinn.
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
Don't ever want to get in between those ladies. You know?
Yeah.
Even
They're
if it seems
crazy.
appealing at the time, like don't do it.
You could die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You could die.
A fella could get killed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of romance, I want to talk about some bromance potentially. With,
Talk to me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, with Coleman and Jeremy, but I mean you and Josh Kelly, really. Like he told us you guys are BFFs.
He told you that?
Yeah. He told
really?
us like
I
he
love
just
him.
loves you. Yeah. Yeah. He said the same thing. So this episode, and I loved that video you posted on Twitter.
Yes.
Just like
Oh,
you've waited
yeah.
forever to post it.
I loved that too.
Yeah, first of all, what was in Josh's mouth? I just want to ask.
I think he had some grass. It was with that mansion is in the middle of a, I don't know, 20 acres, and so the grass goes really long.
Josh like grew a beard. We interviewed him last season.
Yeah.
He grew a beard and then like turned into a lumberjack. He came here and he was like, "Arr." And I was like, whoa, Josh, like, hey, so I love him. I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
And it was just funny. Now his beard is off, and I'm like interested how he's going to be.
I only knew him with the beard, and so he shaved it, and it was like, a kid when his dad shaves off his beard. Like it's terrifying. I don't know I didn't know who he was. I didn't know this is my friend in there. I had to get to know him all over again.
Different person. What was how did you guys become friends on set? Do you have any fun stories with each other?
Our very first hangout was a dinner with Shiri, Constance, BJ, myself, and Josh, and some of the producers. And when Josh walked in, I stood up and I said, dude, huge fan of season 1, as I'm sure you're hearing a lot of, but I'm also just fascinated by you as a person because you served in the armed forces and now you're an actor in Hollywood, and that just seems so incongruous, and I'm so fascinated by that, and I cannot wait to get to know you more.
I can't wait to be
And
your
so
friend.
we were just fast. I think I said that. I just want to be your friend. I think I said that. I certainly said that to Freddie because he and Freddie are really good buds still, and so he would always FaceTime with Freddie at table reads or hanging out. And I'm kind of, my wife and I, we both have a crush on Freddie. And so hi Freddie. I can't wait to meet you.
Is this a secret hot guys club? Because I saw an article the other day that you're also friends with Justin Hartley, and that you gave him the script for This Is Us that is hurting my Young and the Restless.
Wait, who
feeling
told
of
you
it.
this? Who told you this?
Justin said it in an interview with Michael Fairman.
Yes. I mean, we're just talking about good
Yeah.
people is what we're talking about. Justin Hartley, good guy.
I'm
Josh
like,
Kelly, great guy. But yes, that was.
Don't take Adam from me.
I won't. No. Freddie Stroma.
Oh, I mean
Tremendous
Adam
guy.
Newman, who just
Adam from the. Yeah. No. Wait till you
yeah.
till you see.
This Is Us.
Justin in this. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
it's.
I hear it's just amazing, but
For him though, this part, he gets
Yeah.
to be hot. He gets to be funny. He gets to do it
The
all.
whole thing.
Unreal, guys.
Unreal.
Well, let's also talk about how the relationship between Jeremy and Coleman developed very quickly. I love how he found him at the bar, drunk, and
I was so glad he was back.
was like the douchebag
Yeah.
bar. Seriously, is down the street.
I loved that line.
Yeah.
But if you want to drink, there's a douchebag bar down the street.
Josh had such a hard time. It's like, really? Yeah, say that. So we shot a bunch of different ones. That was the one that they used.
See, like I can tell that there's so much that doesn't go on the air.
Oh my gosh.
And I just want to be a fly on the wall. I want to see it all. I want it to be like I wish they could have maybe a part of the website or something that they could just like show us
Outtakes.
some stuff.
That would be. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because there's gold there. There is so much gold. We actually thought this season was going to be funnier, even more funny than it actually is. Just because of what maybe that's just the way it works on set. We just crack each other up and have fun and have a blast. And the nature of this show, there's lots of improv opportunities. We just try and make each other laugh and have fun and be silly. And so we're like, wow, this season. I guess we were just drinking our own Kool-Aid. This season's gonna be really. It's gonna be really. This is really funny.
We're funny. We're funny people.
Aren't we? Exactly. Abby. So I'm just stupid. Never mind. I'm just dumb.
I can only imagine like in the control room, like all those lines, because that's when Quinn always says the most ridiculous things while they're watching the footage, and so I can only imagine there's so many funny.
And they just let her go. We just roll on that.
Yeah, it's. Those are the
Oh
best.
my gosh.
Those scenes are great. I love them.
So is she just riffing a lot of the time?
All the I mean, with that stuff when she's watching the monitors, going, "Guys, come on!"
And then, like,
so like a dry
pretend
wind blowing through my vagina.
vagina.
Yes, that stuff.
The jerking herself off too. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, she just goes and goes and goes. Sometimes our directors will holler, say this, and she's game for anything.
She's awesome.
I mean, she said that
so
Sid's
funny.
line. I was like, ooh, that was dark, but so dark it was funny.
Yeah. She said, she always says the very first episode of the first season, she watched that. She doesn't normally, religiously watch to see how people are going to react, but that one she needed to know how people are going to react because she was terrified because this character is just awful and says horrible, horrible things, and people are going to hate me. So she really tuned into the response and was floored that people were eating it up.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you hear something and you're like, oh, they really just say that. But it is hilarious. It's
hysterical. I laugh all the time.
I shouldn't be laughing at this, but I am.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to sound like a crazy feminist here, but as we know, there's lots of fun male characters on TV, like Ari Gold from Entourage, which of course Quinn was, or Constance was his counterpart kind of on that show as far as like the male Ari Gold. But I mean, do you think Jeremy Piven ever was like, oh, is this too much? Like people aren't gonna hate him. He was hilarious. He's a guy. He's like a douchey, kind
agree.
of funny.
That's one of the best characters
Yeah.
of all
Yeah.
time, I think.
Yeah.
But I think they're paving the way, these women, to be more open, for people to kind of accept women for just not always being nice and pretty.
Absolutely. I think they're definitely breaking out of the those kind of chains for sure, because not chains. I just feel like yes, they're bringing a honest, like they're just being human. Why do they have to be contained in this little box of leading ladies? And you're with me. You're all with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. We are so with you on that one.
Yeah, we're female
Money,
comedians.
dick, power, guys.
So, yeah.
Money, dick, power.
Power.
I think a little misguided, I will say. I don't think it served them very well, that mantra.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was just like in Scarface. I mean, and that was, to me, it's just like, okay, Scarface said this line, basically replacing dick with pussy, luckily. But, it's just, why can't women say that? Why can't women do Scarface?
Totally.
I mean, and that's to me is like this show is like women being like the Wolf of Wall Street. These characters that men have always been able to play. But this is the first time we get to see two powerhouse women do it and do it well.
And I
We
think
love them for it.
And I think Madison's kind of getting up there with them too. I think that she's gonna grow so much more too. She had like a really funny line when they were talking about all like messing up the wedding and stuff, and Quinn saying all this stuff, and seems like so upset, and then all of a sudden she goes, oh, she has a dying grandma, like I can do that. She has these moments where she's like, this is so bad, and you think that she might be questioning it, and then all of a sudden she like gets all excited and is like, oh, I can be a part of this. And so I think she's gonna start being up with those two soon.
Oh, yeah. She's got the crazy eyes.
Absolutely.
She sure does. So Jeremy, though, comes on Team Coleman.
Yeah.
For a second.
And Hot Rachel is in the room, and they sneak on because, Coleman, like, people still know him and think he's a showrunner. And then Jeremy gets some information that disturbs him about Rachel. And it was amazing acting on Josh Kelly's part, because you could really tell, even with the beard and like all the hair on his face, that like he, was really surprised by the information about her rape when she was a child. And
I think his radar really went up though when she said, "Yeah, Rachel asked me to be go live on the show tonight," and he was like,
Yep.
He's
She
like,
what?
oh.
He knows her. He
Yeah.
knows she doesn't do nothing is a coincidence. It's all on purpose. And so that got him. That sent his radar up, and then collecting all this information. Yeah, she was right. He knew she was in full
full mode.
Yeah.
Full Rachel mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah, to me, I love the look on his face because it was like Jeremy finally understood Rachel in that moment, is how I felt it. And then he was like, oh no, she does these things for a reason. And so then he wanted to help her because he's been in love with this woman for a while. I mean, hasn't always showed it, but
That you could see the history on his face in that scene. You could really see that history that they had together on his face.
And as though the dots are connecting, all of these dots that have been like in his brain, like they don't connect. I'm so confused by her, but then all of a sudden it all clicked.
Yeah.
And I think he's been feeling a ton of guilt, obviously. And I read a really interesting article. Sarah Gertrude Shapiro was being interviewed, and she talked about how that scene when he beat her up, basically, she wanted it to be like who was wrong and who was right, even if it's never okay for a man to raise his hand to a woman. It's still like, was that an accident? What was that? Because Jeremy has never been portrayed as this kind of guy, and I was so sad to see him I'm like, oh, he's gonna be shunned forever. He's never gonna be able to come back from that.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit before we came in here. We were saying, so, like, are you supposed to think that he's a good guy or a bad guy? Like, are you supposed to forgive him because of him coming back and helping them? It's a weird thing. And then I kind of took it as, I think that you're supposed to, like, forgive him in a sense because that's just, like, their messed up, crazy family, and all of them do messed up things all the time.
It's kind of like a cat bringing like a dead mouse to the door, isn't it?
yeah, it's a
Like
present.
Yeah,
I love you.
fan, I don't remember who it was, someone tweeted or commented, and they were like, UnREAL is like recreating the Manson family. I mean, kind of.
Dysfunction for sure.
Yeah, dysfunction.
Remember,
murder.
too, when Josh was here, he said that Jeremy has this huge redeeming moment, and I just think it's hysterical that his big redeeming moment is, like, killing someone.
I know.
Like, that's not a...
Or potentially killing someone.
That's only redeeming...
Exactly.
Like, two
Attempting
psycho people.
to kill
Yeah.
two people.
Well, and to me, though, is like, this is why UnREAL, like, is more like, say, Breaking Bad or Preacher, these anti-heroes, basically, because, on those shows, is Walter White a good person? No, but we love him, so we're rooting for him. And in that show, I mean, most people, like, hated the good guys and liked the villains, or just same thing with Preacher, that whole cast of people, they're kind of awful people, but we like them. And I feel like this is finally the female version of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan.
Well, then we had some fun Jeremy Rachel moments, which I found really interesting when he just literally jumped out of a tree. And, he had just, like, beat her up a few weeks ago. And she wasn't scared. She was just like, oh, God, you sad, broken puppy. Like, oh, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, she was not afraid of him.
She never wants Rachel to be a victim, ever. She doesn't, that's one of her main... tenets that she holds for Rachel is Rachel is not a victim. She will not be a victim, and so that guides her pretty strongly throughout the season.
Yeah,
she was calm. She's like, you can't be here.
Yeah,
he's like, and he's not like very like inconspicuous, like with that caveman looking face and like jumping out of trees. I'm like, someone's gonna see you.
Well, I mean, it is true. I think that in a way she might have. Things went really downhill after all that happened, and she got, kooky and crazy. No, not crazy. I'm not going to say that. Sorry. She just, lost it a bit, but I think she might feel bad for Jeremy, too, at the end of the day after all of this. And what I really want to hear all of your opinions on is after she went to Rachel, or after Rachel went to Quinn and said, this is gonna be about over. Do you know? And Quinn said, no, you are a producer. Produce something. Do something about this.
She produced Joe.
And do you think she went and produced Jeremy?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that right when she went into the trailer because she was saying all this stuff, and she knows him. She knows all the right things to say, and that's exactly what I thought. And when she left, I knew that he was gonna do something.
Oh yeah, you could see it on his face. He's like, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Like, Jeremy.
And
he did, essentially.
And she did play the whole, like, no, you can't. There's nothing. She, like, was kind of doing reverse psychology on him.
Yeah, she's manipulative.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and to me, with Jeremy, he wouldn't have thought of that on his own. I mean, and it's no offense to Jeremy, but, he's sadly seen as more of at least a bit more moral than them in most situations. But yeah, this was so Rachel just trying to work him, and especially after what he just found out had happened to her when she was younger. He was a bit vulnerable because this is someone he loves, and, you know, I feel that Rachel does love Jeremy, and I feel that they'll get back together eventually, but I feel that this will redeem him in her eyes.
I think Jeremy is her Chet.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Well, see, I
it's just
thought-
depressing if they end up
You
together.
were when you came in the season. I was like, oh, that's her Chet. You know, Coleman is her Chet.
They wanted Coleman during the audition phase of this and my chemistry reads and everything. What they really, really wanted was to feel like this is Rachel's, like, this is her best like, this is the best option she will ever have. Nice, caring guy, really, like, great pedigree, great momentum career-wise. If there was a boat to jump on, it's this one. They're gonna ride off into the sunset together.
Like Quinn's
for
booth.
mixed metaphors.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's what I was
know?
gonna say.
Like Chet and Jeremy are equivalent in their relationships as, like, I feel like Coleman and Booth are.
Yeah,
They
but
could have gone. They had the potential
I
to.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
They never-
I liked Booth so much
yeah,
more.
but he's Mr. Fantastic.
Yoan, speaking of man crush, oh, Yoan.
I think you have a crush on everyone on the show.
I do.
That's okay. We all do.
No.
Oh,
It's fine.
Well, I mean, I kind of did. I wanted him to come out somehow that he was bad. So Quinn's heart wouldn't be, she'd be like, oh, it's fine. I mean, I shouldn't have had babies with him anyways. He's a psycho.
No, he seemed all good.
it was all on her. It was all on her.
Well, and I actually liked that, though, because it was Quinn's choice. And that's what she said. She didn't want to be someone's disappointment, just get out of her life. And at least it kept her with the power, just like with, you know, Rachel and Jeremy to an extent. Rachel still wound up with all the power.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, that's like the opposite of what your therapist
Yeah.
would ask you to do. They're like, you should be vulnerable. She's like, nope, no vulnerability. I'm not going to fail this guy. Nope, bye.
Because
it was
they're-
such a sad scene watching her cry as soon as she left and freak out. That killed me.
It's devastating. It was
Yeah.
devastating.
It was very sad, and I love being able to, because it's, you know, different situations, but Quinn is emoting what's going on in her life onto the show, and at the end of the day, I think that is what tends to happen. But as we said, the show has a happy ending. Everlasting does.
Yeah.
Wait, which show here?
Depends on who you're.
I think it damn near broke Quinn's heart, though, to see that people actually find true love,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, as I tweeted
She'll
at that
never have it.
moment. Yeah.
It was beautiful, and it was kind of funny to see Tiffany and Chantal.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they're at the interviews after the wedding. They're like, he played us the whole time. They're so funny together.
I know, they are funny together. I could see them being like co-bachelorettes next season.
love that.
Yeah, that would be funny because I definitely predict Tiffany will be back in some capacity
Yeah.
because they didn't really wrap that
And
up.
with Chet, yeah.
I think
We'll
Chantal's so funny. Her character, I think, is hysterical, and I'd love to see more of her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was the comic relief, and you didn't see that, especially when her first thing is, oh, her fiance died. You're like, this is going to be a sad one. And then she wound up getting the ashes all in Darius's face.
Dead guy in my mouth.
Oh, BJ Ritz, we heard from other guests that a lot of those were just his, you know, one-liners that he was.
Pump your brakes.
Yeah, pump
your brakes.
That was
Yeah.
my
Pump your
favorite.
brakes. Pump your brakes. Another one where the entire field, at that point, it wasn't a room, it was a field. Everyone's just
Yeah, that was
pump your
hilarious.
brake. Pump your brake. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes.
It was my favorite, actually, one of my favorite parts of the season. And yeah, then basically Coleman and Hot Rachel are holding hands, going off into the sunset.
Like Thelma and Louise.
After I dropped the mic after Coleman drops the mic
dropped
with,
the mic too
you
with
soon.
Rachel.
dropped the mic with Rachel, and you said you win.
Because what was their plan? What was their plan? You can't keep.
You're like, what are you going to do,
That's
kill me?
true.
I know.
I honestly thought that, like, that was gonna be, like, set. I was like, and then, like, yeah, really, we will.
Kill me? Okay, Rachel. Sure.
Then she stabs you.
No, she doesn't like to be messy. She'll have someone
Exactly.
do her work.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Man.
And
I
he
mean,
did.
the whole time they showed the car, they just kept going back to the car, and those long lingering shots of cars driving, they make me uneasy in any show.
Oh, yeah.
So I just knew knew something bad was happening.
Well, do you want to know what I love? And maybe this is me as a writer, like finding weird things in the story. But from the first episode when you came on, or was it the first episode of the season you came on? Or the second.
Second.
Yeah, it was the second. They made a big thing about the car they were giving you.
Big thing.
Huge thing, and it had the everlasting plates. And then even this time, Rachel was like, the only reason you're keeping that car is because nobody else wants it. It was like the car, and that was throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
You were driving it, showing it off, and then that's what could have potentially killed you.
I just love how you kept driving it after Jeremy peed on it. Like,
There's car washes for a reason.
I know. But I'm like, was the window down? I don't know.
It is such a silly
Yeah.
gift, though. There were so many improv scenes that Sherry and I did of, like, I was like, you know what? What if I hate this car? What if I think? What if my family's so wealthy? Like, this is what is this? 500,000? This is stupid. I want like a. I don't know. I want like a '66 Ferrari. That's like or an Aston. That's a classy car.
Yeah.
I don't want my McLaren.
Well, especially because you're supposed to be like this eco guy, wanting to do
Exactly. Like
they should've
I
got you a
could feed an
Prius
entire
or-
country in Africa for this. Let me sell this.
Yeah.
And exactly.
Yes, But as we did learn
But they
this
used it as a
episode-
device.
No.
They did use it as a device, but we did learn this episode that you
Or a fraud.
are a big old, like,
Sorta.
humanitarian fraud.
But maybe you did it for the greater purpose of the message that's getting across.
Thank you.
Just like
Thank you.
Everlasting's all
That's what
about
I chose
true
to
love.
believe.
Yes.
Hero in my own story. That's what I chose to believe.
Well, these 10 episodes have been absolutely amazing. Before we wrap up, let's ask a couple questions.
No, we're not rapping. We're just going to talk about this forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
this is
I
the
could
ending.
All night.
Yeah.
I wish I could, honestly.
I could go back through the whole first season with you guys.
Yeah.
The second season is different because I'm in it. But let's talk about the
I
whole
get a
first
little
season.
riled up. I can talk.
Oh
I
my
can
gosh,
talk for hours.
I know. Sorry, guys, we're going to be here for a while.
We won't do that to you.
Okay, so one of my questions, and I know a lot of fans have this question, is a favorite moment on set that you have had this season, whether it be funny or just kind of like an aha moment for you for acting.
Wow. Watching Constance's laugh, that was pretty spectacular because that truly is one of the hardest things to do. And watching Sherry direct while giving just a dynamo performance, that was mind blowing.
Did you like her telling you what to do?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I treated her like my personal director the entire season. I would go up every scene. I go, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Any thoughts? Any idea? Yeah, try that maybe. Okay, I will. Great. And she'd do the same thing with me. What do you think? Should I? Yeah, I don't know. Try that. That'd be great. Okay. But I would always go up because she knows the show so well.
Oh, yeah.
This is their world. And tell me, what do you think? I love her strong opinions on things.
All right, what about you guys?
What would you say, like, emotionally for you, the scene-wise, was, like, hardest to get into?
The hardest scene, I think, to shoot was the interview scene when she's drugged up. We talked at length about that. Producers, director, Sherry, we all had went through a lot of rewrites, a lot of talking about it. Like, how can I make me believe this? How can I? Sherry finally just said, dude, what if you just go for it? Just go for it. Like, you're not the nice guy. Because at this point, it was still like, am I not? I don't know. I'm not. I think I'm nice. So why am I doing this? So she was like, just try when we're like, you're not. Like, you're just a dick.
And?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it. You did it.
So I went for it. And so, yeah, but that was really, really tricky to figure out that scene. And we did a lot of versions of it.
Well, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Definitely.
Thanks.
We liked it.
Thanks.
What was your favorite episode to shoot this season?
I really had fun with Sherry's episode, just for aforementioned experience of being able to watch her direct and act at the same time. And I just think it was a spectacular episode, and what she did with it from what was on paper to what she created. I really enjoyed, and I loved that location down at the farmhouse. It was a lot of fun. Gosh, there were some good ones though. 7 was really good too. The pullover.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty intense. Oh, it's really hard. I can't. That's an impossible. I'm sorry. Impossible question. Next question.
If you were running the show, what would you want for Coleman after this? If, per se, he does survive the car accident.
Wow, I never thought about that. I feel like I would want Coleman to come back guns a-blazing, and just no pretense at all, and just out for. Just committed to taking these people down. That would be fun for me, right? That would be.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you want for Coleman?
I hope he's alive.
I hope he has a brain injury.
Thanks. You hope he has a brain injury.
Well, because
So he's there, but he doesn't talk.
I kind of want that too.
to not remember anything. I want him to be so confused.
He just walks around like, hi, Coleman Wasserman. Hi,
I think
nice
it'd
to
be
meet
cool
you.
if he like came back, but they all thought that he was like done, or and he is like secretly kind of conniving, and then like at the end of the next season he comes back and had this huge like plan, like in a lair,
And
you know?
see-
That'd be
It's
fun.
Yeah.
In a
It's
layer.
pretty cool.
It has to be in a layer.
Is he playing piano or is that a keyboard? What was that?
Yeah, because his face got halfway burned off. And,
Playing Chopin.
But yeah, and as the soap watcher, I'm like, that's a great idea.
face-
Abby. I'm like, oh my god.
Face burnt off playing Chopin.
I might be getting a little Pretty Little Liars with it.
I actually, I randomly said to a coworker today that watches Unreal, because it was the only person at work I could like talk about it with, because she was really into it too. And I was like, how funny would it be next season if Coleman and Hot Rachel came back as like scary ghosts? And she was like, no, I don't
not
think
this
so.
show.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, we've all had amazing interactions about the show, all
Love
the
it.
fans this
so
season,
good.
so we really appreciate it. Let's get into some quick predictions for next season, because we know there will be one.
There will be one.
Another season.
At least one more.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant, of course there would be predictions. There'd be at least 4 here.
Yeah. So I think that Coleman will be alive, and I think he's going to have some sort of brain injury. I'm just hoping for that, so I'm going to predict it. No offense.
It's okay.
And I also think they're finally going to do the Bachelorette thing.
Yeah, I think there'll be a girl suitor for sure, but I think Coleman's going to be alive, but I think he's going to be okay. But I think that he's going to have trouble proving what he's trying to say, because definitely since they have the thing that he was like a fraud with his documentary, because now I think Hot Rachel's dead. So who else is Jeremy's not gonna help him out. So I think he'll try, but he'll have no success in doing that. But I think he's gonna like try until he can't try anymore. As for the rest, I'm glad that the 4 crew, I love how they ended it the same way they ended season 1 with Quinn and Rachel laying on the chairs. I love how they did it with Chet and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Because I think they're all going to kind of work together and be a team, like the family's back together.
Yeah, I do see that the family's back together and they'll be a team. And I actually think that Tiffany will be the Bachelorette, just because her story's not done. And for Coleman, I do think he'll be in a coma for a while, but just because I said I'm a soap watcher and they do that. But
Totally show your colors there.
yes. And
Trapped in a well. I don't know why he's in a well, but he's down a well.
that was Justin's soap.
But maybe
Oh, was
he
it?
has
That's
an
not-
evil twin, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Coleman could have an evil twin, but I feel like he's going to find the producer, and I can't remember her name from season 1 that killed Mary.
Shia.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I think if he gets out of his coma, he'll go
Track
find
her
her.
down.
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay.
because she'll have the goods.
That's a
Forgot
great
about
idea.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the writers need to watch this, because I think that would be a great idea. We had Aileen on last year, Elsmar, who plays Shia, and she was amazing. So I would love to see her back. So I've read all these articles that, some of the writers are like, oh yeah, Coleman was killed,
Yeah.
but I don't trust anything
It's too
they
easy.
say.
I feel like it's too easy if he died.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I would love the thing that, he comes back like, oh, I'm wounded. There's something wrong with me now. I'm hurt. But he's just like, like maybe he'll even like pretend to be in a wheelchair or something and like be walking around and just be like,
Pretend
You guys
to
are
have
so
a brain
fun.
injury.
You guys, this is great. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I just, I'm sorry, were you finished?
No, I
Keep
was
going.
just like, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're a little weird, but it's what we think about.
Like a Kaiser Soze in a wheelchair sort of thing. That's
Oh yeah,
fun.
that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
wheelchair.
Great ideas. I honestly, I'm kind of boring. I thought, oh, he's dead. I don't know. I guess, honestly, I don't imagine them wanting to go through, like, the legalities, like, all that. I don't know. I feel like they'll want a clean break. I don't know. This is based on nothing other than, my imagination of it. Because really nobody knows what season 3 is going to be right now. So I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know. I also don't think there will be a female suitor.
You don't?
Really?
Or a bachelor. I don't think they'll do that. Just because I think it's more interesting to watch females
Interact.
compete.
True,
Guys are
yeah.
just boring.
Yeah.
That's
True.
true.
Guys
How
are
I feel
boring.
about the real Bachelorette, because
Yeah.
it's like nah, and then when it's the Bachelor season, like all these crazy girls.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, making Hot Rachel shit her pants this season will be like every week for the guys.
Yeah.
They'll just be
Yeah.
like making themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they
Hopefully
could do
we-
the gay storyline where they suspect two guys are, making out with each other like they did on. I don't watch that, but I
know.
remember seeing previews
Sure,
about
yeah,
something
that's-
like
that-
that. I don't
that-
know.
They could swing it in a
Yeah,
way. But
that'd be
hopefully,
fun.
hopefully we don't have to wait too long, even though I feel like we'll have to wait a while for season 3.
Only 10 episodes. But guys, those of you, if you're watching this 6 months from now, it's okay. Still comment. We're probably still going to want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm still mad about Lost. If you guys want to talk about that.
Talk to her about comic books, like whatever. It's fine. You could just talk to me about your feelings and probably these ladies too.
All about your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not?
thank you so much, Michael.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys.
for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for being such fans of the show.
Sorry we're such weirdos.
I love it. No one's weird here. No one's weird.
Michael, where can everyone find you online to follow you and stuff?
I'm at Rady Michael on Twitter and Michael J. Rady on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
I'm Abby Vega. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, so you guys can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
And don't forget, of course, to follow AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms, and me, Sam Davidson, at SamD43, Twitter and Instagram, online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com. And since this is the last episode of the season, you can follow me on Snapchat now. That is SamDavidson25 if you want to see me with weird filters on my face. We will see you next season, and please continue to talk to us if you have thoughts about the show. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.